Hi, my name is Damian Trott, and today I'll be talking to you about uncertainty reduction theory and how it's used in online dating. Uncertainty reduction theory is a theory that explains why individuals stretch the truth when meeting someone for the first time. For example, someone who lies about having a master's degree while only obtaining a bachelor's degree exemplifies someone who used uncertainty reduction strategy to gain the attention and respect of others. This theory led me to ask, what makes people feel a sense of certainty when viewing online dating profiles? Looking for a relationship via the internet can be a scary thing, and individuals want to be certain that a potential partner has good character and good intentions. Therefore, it is essential for each profile user to make his or her profile as appealing to the public as possible. This study is focusing on the tactics used by individuals to reduce uncertainty amongst other users. The various social media outlets and common known craze as catfishing has made the online dating world appear to be completely warped. The answer to my research question stood out in numerous resources. 27% of Americans use online dating in hopes of finding true love. How do individuals find love in strangers whom they have only had online communication with? Often, those who use online dating give out a noble misrepresentation of themselves in order to get the attentions of other users. In turn, more partners become interested because they feel more certain about who the stranger is on the other side of the computer. Individuals use uncertainty reduction theory in online dating in order to attract companions and feel more confident about himself or herself. Let's face it, when it comes to the person that we portray ourselves to be online, we're very selective about the content and the information that we choose to share. We only want to show off our most attractive pictures, our brightest ideas, and our most impressive experiences. Whether we realize it or not, these face-saving strategies have become so habitual that people often become socially dependent on the character that they have built on these networks, rather than just being themselves. This makes the online dating market very tricky for those who are trying to utilize it, because it allows people to hide behind the computer screen and often bend the truth as to who they are in order to appear more attractive to other users. Unfortunately, sharing misinformation about oneself is a commonality amongst online dating sites these days. In this previous study, gender and different levels of higher education were used as variables to measure the type of people who are most likely to share information about themselves on these online dating sites. Unfortunately, the information shared does not have to be accurate to be posted. You can really put anything that you want on your profile and in your biography. Online dating falls under the social media umbrella. In this study, students from two different universities were used. The students were chosen at random to ensure that no bias was in the results. 200 questionnaires were distributed and approximately 171 were completed. Each questionnaire contained real examples of shared misinformation on social media. The information ranged from news stories to daily life posts. The individuals were then asked if they were likely to share the information. After all the surveys were completed, the mean and standard deviance were recorded. The key findings in this study spoke volumes relative to how easy it is to share misinformation on social media. To begin, almost 100% of respondents admitted to have screened their friends' misinformation on social media or have shared misinformation of their own on social media. 65% said that the information is personal information. Out of the respondents, females and undergraduates have the highest tendency to share misinformation according to all of our respondents. To collect data, cross-sex dyads were used. 81 men and 81 women, all undergraduates, signed up for 1-hour time slots. To maximize efficiency, it was asked that students did not sign up with a partner he or she met before. The participants were asked to get to know each other to the best of their abilities using 3 different strategies: text-only communication, visual communication, and face-to-face communication. The text-only interacted via instant messaging, the visual interacted via instant messaging with photos, and the face-to-face communication was done living room style, where people just kind of sat around and got to know each other. Prior to the other time slot, each face-to-face condition interacted in the living room setting. Participants were asked to give the brief background about his or her life and to write down on a note card. This included, but was not limited to, hometown, family life, hobbies, and interests. The key findings in this study spoke volumes in the use of uncertainty reduction theory on online sites. Face-to-face CMC condition reduces uncertainty more than text-only visuals. This relates to audio cues, which can which can make one story more or less convincing to his or her audience. It seems that the participants trusted their partner more when hearing them, thus solidifying that he or she was in fact a real person. After each interview, each partner was asked to write down all of the things that he or she remembered about the other partner. Then the original short autobiography was compared to that of what the partner actually remembered. Both lists were compared for key words and phrases, which were circled to see if they were similar. The findings were that more matches existed with those who did the face-to-face communication rather than text-only communication. Surprisingly, however, the note cards of those who participated in text-only communication included pieces of information that did not match the original note card at all. This exemplifies that the idea that the uncertainty reduction theory is largely used when text-only communication is the only form of communication that's offered. The aforementioned research has increased our knowledge on uncertainty reduction theory. This theory is used in order to reduce another's uncertainty of one's character upon first interaction. In addition, it is proven that individuals who partake in text-based communication use uncertainty strategies more than those who partake in face-to-face communication more often. This is because individuals feel pressure to sell themselves quicker online rather than in person, especially on online dating sites. Lastly, we have learned that uncertainty reduction strategies are used to overcome fears and to promote self-efficacy. For example, one might say that he or she lives somewhere different in order to promote personal security, while others may claim to have his master's degree while only obtaining a bachelor's degree in order to promote self-efficacy. In conclusion, uncertainty reduction strategies are used for selfish reasons to make oneself look better in some way than it actually is. Now, my research question was, what makes people feel a sense of certainty when viewing online dating profiles? The content that I analyzed to answer my research question was all about catfishing. A popular term in today's online dating, catfishing is deceiving another person with a fabricated identity. Individuals have various motives in catfishing, such as appearing more attractive, escaping to a fantasy land, or even a psychological issue. While researching the internet phenomena, the number of real stories about people who suffered through being catfished was alarming. One source from a modern online scientific journal, the other source from the TV reality series Catfish. Prior to the start of the research, I was familiar with the show and saw numerous examples of catfishing on both sides of the spectrum. As far as the television show, I've had specific method to picking which episodes I watched. First, I narrowed it down one episode every other season. Since there were 6 seasons of the show, I condensed it into 3. The episodes that I watched were filmed in 2013, 2015, and one in 2017. Next, I looked at the episodes with most viewers. In Season 2, Episode 9, which was Rod and Ebony, had over 2.75 million viewers. In Season 4, Episode 1, Miracle and Giovanni had over 1.4 million viewers. Lastly, Season 6, Episode 2, Alante and Neve had over 1.64 million viewers. I chose this strict selection of episodes in order to hopefully find a consistent pattern amongst catfishing. The findings from watching TV series Catfish gave a large amount of insight on how the process actually worked, and that was the most common way to end the situation. In the first episode, I analyzed many lies existed. Rod and Ebony had been talking for over 4 years, and Rod wanted to commit to the relationship. Ebony was pushing back the issue as far as she could and claimed that she was battling cancer and could not meet up right away. It turned out Ebony was a lesbian and had a young child, all of which she left out while talking to this partner of 4 years. The reason Ebony did this was because she wanted to reduce Rod's uncertainty about who she really was in order to appear more attractive to him. She lied and made herself vulnerable in order to win Rod over and to make him think that she was talking to someone else who needed and deserved all the love and attention in the world. Ebony's uncertainty reduction strategies may have worked, but thankfully Rod is onto another romance that doesn't involve a computer. The next episode I watched included a handful of lies. Miracle reached out on the show in hopes of finding love in her life, Giovanni. Giovanni's character sure did fit the dream relationship. He was a music producer and lived quite a lavish life. Unfortunately, when Miracle finally met Giovanni, he turned out to be a young woman named Kara. Kara was lonely and bored after having lupus, which left her homebound. This is another example of the uncertainty reduction theory to cover up one's story. The last episode I watched was in favor of the research question, which was Alante from a small town who believed that Neve was the perfect girl for him. It turned out that Neve was not who she said she was, just like the other two episodes that I had watched, and luckily, Alante's on to bigger and better things. The similarities in the aforementioned episodes are directly related to the uncertainty reduction theory. To reiterate my research question, which was what makes people feel a sense of certainty when viewing online dating profiles? The first thing that a person typically notices when looking at an online profile of somebody else is their profile picture. Attraction plays a large role in most relationships, so appearance is usually one of the most important factors, as we all know. Attraction plays a large role in most relationships. In today's world, pictures can be faked, stolen, manipulated, and altered in order to become more alluring. This is one of the many challenges in online dating. I believe that the consistency and clarity of a person's photos, as well as their online interactions, is what others could certainly help validate the authenticity of a user, as well as reducing the levels of uncertainty about their profile. Another major influence would be the biography of a person, which is meant to share brief information about them for other viewers to see. This is where you get to see the personality of the user, as they can either be extremely vague or very descriptive with the information that they're sharing. For some, this is where you would discuss whether or not you have children, what you do for a living, and even your future aspirations. There's no right or wrong way to disclose the information about yourself, so you can see a variety of different examples, some more in depth than others. The online bio is a great opportunity to help reduce uncertainty for those who will be looking at the viewer's profile. The answer is yes. Appearance and reputation have large parts and reasons that individuals entertain the uncertainty reduction theory. Profile pictures are what the other user first notices. Not only do the users have the ability to filter their pictures, but they do so that they have absolutely no imperfections, but they can also be a completely different person, as we saw in the catfishing episodes. Some people, have different hair, different gender, and sometimes different ethnicities that they appear to be online. As far as biographies, almost all humans know what is and what is not socially acceptable. Witty taglines and grammatically correct phrases tend to reel in your audience and suggesting that you're relatable. Although the topic has some harsh research behind it, it is not extensively researched because there is to be limitations on this study. It seems that the core of online investigation revolves around social media. In order to better understand the answer to my research question, there needed to be specific research on the specific dating sites. The limitations on this topic set a great stage for future research on the topic. When an individual decides to put a complete stranger in the traumatizing event of being catfished, there is likely an underlying issue to that individual. To better understand this issue, it is imperative that researchers look at the age and medical history of the online dating users. This background information could lend some key findings on an individual's psychological and emotional state of mind. These barriers could cause one to seek love and attention in a very deceitful way. Now, here are my references for all of the aforementioned information that I shared with you, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.